Welcome back everyone. So we're on to part 2 of my designer friend Dolly makeover. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so Rosie's doll's all finished. She's going to tell us about her, aren't you, Rosie?
Yeah. She's got a flower and she's got some lines where I tried to do a flower but it didn't work.
Right. And what's this part here?
What? That's a written necklace because she doesn't have a necklace in the sea.
That's a very good idea. And who is she? Did you tell me she was the mummy?
Of the mermaid.
She's the mummy of the mermaid, and isn't she beautiful? Yeah. I think you've done a lovely job, Rosie. There you go then, darling. Now then, our girl is ready to try her dress on. So I've sewn the Velcro on, one piece on the outside, one piece on the inside. So the moment of truth, let's try it on her, shall we? Ooh, it's exciting. Do you think it's going to fit?
Yeah.
It ought to, didn't it? You going to help me do it up now?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's really strong stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really
Really strong Velcro. Wow, look at that. It is strong.
Yeah.
There we go. Now let's see. Wow, yes, very happy with that. Look, oh, got my hand making a tummy look big. Yeah, there she is with her little dress on. So happy with that. So I'm going to take that off and finish her face now. So off with the dress. Again. Really happy with that. That looks good, doesn't it?
It doesn't stick to me.
It doesn't stick to you. Well, that's because you're not made of Velcro, are you?
You're not.
Right, now then, let's paint a bit more of her lips, shall we?
Yeah.
Right, move your hands then, darling. Let me put the paint down. And I've watered this paint down a little tiny bit so that it's not so thick. Let's get the water down, Rosie. And I'm now going to just put another layer on, just to smooth the lips out a little bit. Here we go. There we are. You can still just see that graze, but it does look much better than it did. So I'm happy that it looks better than it did. As for the graze on her cheek, I'll show you that in a second. So this, what I'm using is just acrylic paint. It's nothing too expensive. It's not the cheapest one and it's not the most expensive. It's sort of the mid-range. And the pastels that I used on her cheeks are Faber-Castell. They're the ones I like. Not that I am an expert at customising by any means, because I'm not.
Looks good.
You like it, do you?
Yeah.
Rosie likes it, yeah. So that looks much better now. It's had a second coat on. There we go. So we'll leave that to dry and then we'll come back to you. Oh, before I go, yeah, the graze on her cheek, you can still see it, but it doesn't look quite as bad as it did, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, be back soon. Okay, so we're back and Rosie's done another dolly while we were waiting. This is her. Are you going to tell us all about her?
She's a brat. Cut the dress a bit.
Yeah.
And got some shoes on.
Yeah. And what did we do with the bottom of the dress?
We cut it and we put a bow in.
Beautiful. And there she is. Rosie's redone dolly. Doesn't she look lovely? Beautiful. Right. And I've been busy finding out some pieces to make some jewellery with. Rosie and I have decided on little dragonflies for the earrings. Hold on, I'm not doing a very good job of showing these. And we've got feathers for the necklace. I'm going to put 2 feathers on the necklace. I've measured a length of chain long enough to go around her neck. I've got some little eye pins to make the earrings with. I'm going to put a little split ring on the end of the eye pin. I'm going to join the split ring onto there, like so. I do like split rings because they don't come undone as easily as just normal eye pins. And then I'm going to, on the split ring, I'm going to put one of the little dragonflies. So now, when you've got fingers like sausages and tiny little split rings, it's not the easiest job in the world to do, but we'll do our best.
Yes.
Won't we, Rosie? So I'm going to put the dragonfly onto the split pin, and then I'm going to put the split pin onto the eye pin, and then that's going to be the earrings finished. Well, it'll be one earring finished, won't it?
Yes.
Here we go. She says, "Oh, I can't get it to go."
Dragonfly for the earring.
Yes, and feathers for the necklace, we decided, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, bet.
There we are. Well, now we've got it on. And then we're going to put it on the eye pin, and we're going to close up the eye pin tightly so it doesn't come. So here we are, look.
Got some bolognese.
And we're going to close up the eye
Got
pin.
some bolognese there.
Bolognese.
Bolognese.
Oh, it looks like bolognese a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really just chain, isn't it?
This chain.
Here we are, closed up the eye on the eye pin. So that's one earring finished. Yeah, shall we see if we can do the other earring?
Yeah.
Right, don't play with the chain, darling. Good girl. Because that's the next fiddly job, isn't it? Is to put an eye pin on each end of the chain. Yeah.
What's the necklace? No, what's the necklace?
The necklace is feathers, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Did you just remember?
No.
Yes, you did. And you helped me decide on feathers too, didn't you? Did you forget?
No.
I think you might have just forgotten a little bit, did you?
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. That's okay. Right, so here we go with earring number 2. So there's the earrings ready. Can you see those? Cute. Now, don't mess with the chain, my darling. Shall I tell you why? Because every time you touch it, it makes it go tarnished. And that means when you touch it with your skin, that the oils and things in your skin spoil the chain. Okay? Because it's jewellery chain. It's not proper silver or gold. So we have to handle it as little as possible, okay?
It's got to be proper gold.
Well, it hasn't got to be for a dolly, has it?
It has.
No.
Those are plastic.
So now what I'm doing is putting an eye pin on the end of one on each end of the chain, like so. You see?
Everybody knows.
Not everybody knows how to do it, darling.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
Right, so that's one eye pin on one end of the chain. Now we need another eye pin and the closure on the other end. So I'm going to use the eye pin to hold the closure to the other end of the chain. Here's my little tiny lobster clasp for the closure. So we'll try and get that into there. Oh, it's really warm today as well, isn't it, Rosie?
Yeah.
So whilst the dolly has been drying, I've given her another coat of Mr. Super Clear, which is a UV flat varnish that I get from eBay. And we've been choosing a jewellery and sorting that out. We've been finishing Rosie's dolly, haven't we, Rosie? Finding some shoes for her and all sorts, haven't we? It does just show you just how much goes into doing a dolly though, doesn't it? It's not just a case of brushing her hair and popping a frock on her. We've made her some jewellery, we've redone her lips, haven't we? We've done her cheeks. Yeah, we've been really busy. It's taken us most of the afternoon to do her, hasn't it? I know that people who are a bit more cleverer than me at customising take even longer than that to do their dollies, don't they? Yeah.
But you make good dolls too.
I make good dolls, do I? Thank you, darling. Whoops. Right, I'm going to come back when I've got that done because I'm struggling with my sausage fingers. Okay, so here we are with the necklace finished. What I've done is I've put the two feathers onto a split ring and then attached the split ring to the roughly the middle link of the necklace chain. So that's the jewellery all done. On the other end we've got, oops, a split ring and a lobster clasp held on with a split ring too. You see that? Yeah, so that's that all done. Right, let's see how she's cooking. Let's see how this doll is cooking, shall we, Rosie? Yeah, here she is. So she's all dry now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint over her lips and her eyes with some Liquitex gloss varnish. High gloss to make her lips look glossy and hopefully to make her eyes look glossy again. Yeah, and my brush just fits nicely into there, so that's fine. And literally just paint over the lipstick. What else does it help for, Rosie?
It helps for staying on forever and ever.
It does help it stay on, yes, doesn't it? It helps the paint stay on.
Forever.
Forever, apparently, yeah. So that's made her lips nice and glossy, as you can see. I've gone a little bit over just there, so I'll just wipe that off, that's fine. You can always put two coats on. Once it's dry, just pop another coat on. There we go. I think those lips look a lot better than they did in the first place. Now let's try her eyes. Hopefully this will work. I'm hoping that this is going to... Bit of a technical hitch there. Yeah, so I've done one eye. Can you see the difference in her eyes? I don't know if it'll show up very well on the camera, but the one with the Liquitex on is really nice and shiny, this one here. Hoping it's going to stay that way. And the other one is still dull. So I'm going to put some Liquitex on that one too. There we are, and then we'll leave it to dry, and I'll be back later once she's dried and dressed and all jewelleried up. Okay, so I'm just about to pierce her ear, and I thought I'd better share that with you too, because she came without pierced ears. and I want her to have earrings. I need to pierce her ears, and in order to do that I need to use a corkboard pin, a notice board pin, and all you do is literally stick it. Ugh, it takes a bit of working in because it's quite thick just there on this doll anyway. Give it a bit of a twist, leave it in for a second or two, and now I've mislaid my earring. Bear with me. Here we are, here's my earring ready to go in. So pull out the pin, stick in your earring, and you're done. How cute is that? Yep, so that's that done. Also, I have plaited her hair, and I'm going to put a little bit of a decoration in the bottom of that now. Her hair is really thick and really did take some plaiting. So I'll be back in a minute when she's all dressed and done. Before I put her dress on, I just want to add some tassels along the bottom. So in order to do that, I'm going to measure the width of this ruler. On the inside, I'm going to draw a line, the width of this ruler, along the bottom of the dress. So line your ruler up with your bottom of your dress and draw a line that's the same width as your ruler. That's how long I want my tassels to be. And then it's just a case of cutting your tassels. So just cut up to the line. And you can make them as wide or as narrow as you wish. And just continue that till you get to the other end. Careful not to do them too narrow or else you'll cut them off. Okay, so I'll be back with you when that's finished and she's got it on. Okay, so she's all finished and all dressed. Here she is. Look at her face. It looks so much better than it did when I started. I'm really happy with that. She's got her little earrings in. Her hair's done, and what I did, I took one of the feathers from the front of the spare material that was left over and just tucked that into the bobble, and then I cut a strip of the spare fabric and wrapped that around. Did the same on both sides. Popped a little necklace on, which looks really good. I've cut the frill around the bottom of her dress, and I made her some little shoes. Actually, I've made her one shoe because I thought I would show you how I made the shoe in case you wanted to make some too. So this is not going to be easy, but I'll show you how I made the shoe. So I started off with these shapes. I'll show you how I got these shapes, don't worry. So we have a sole and an insole. This part goes around the front like so and wraps underneath, and this part goes around the back like so and wraps underneath. So the first thing we do is get some material, stand her on it. Whoops, sorry, this is not easy. Stand her on the material and draw around her foot, just next to it, not really tightly around her foot but close to it, and just sort of round off the toe bit. Okay, so that's roughly drawn around her foot. So here we are. Then I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut that out to the size that it is. Bear with me. Okay, so that's that part done. That is a little bit bigger than the size of her foot, the sole of her foot. The next thing we do is put that on another piece of material and cut one out that's slightly bigger. So we leave a bit of a hem around this one. So you could draw around that and then cut out what you've drawn. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Please bear in mind this is just how I do it. It's not how you've got to do it. I'm just showing you how I did it. This is only the second pair of shoes I've ever made for a doll. Well, without knitting or crocheting them anyway. So I've drawn around the piece of the sole, and now I'm going to cut it out just a bit bigger. It doesn't really matter too much because you're going to trim off the excess of this afterwards, so make sure you leave plenty of room. It doesn't matter if it's too big, you are going to cut it down later. Rather it's too big than too small. So that's that piece and that piece, which is that and that. Then we go on to make the front of the shoe, and in order to do that we get a piece of material, lost my material, sorry, roughly the size you need. So you're going to need to draw around this, so cut it out, cut out your piece of material to a more manageable size. That's what I'm going to do just now. And make sure that you've got one straight edge. I'm going to make this my straight edge. I'm just going to cut straight across there. Okay, so I've got my piece of material with my straight edge, and what I'm going to do with that is lay it on the foot like so. Can you see? Lay it over the foot, not too high up or you won't get her shoe on and off. And you turn her upside down, and while you're holding that in place, which is a bit fiddly, I know, hold that in place like that and draw around it with your pen. Round off the toes again. And make sure you draw around the bottom of the foot. Don't go up here, you need it here, around the bottom of the foot. Okay, so like that, around at the front, and then like this. Okay, once you've got that shape, now if you do it cutting out two shoes, do it on a double piece of material, right sides together, and then cut it out. Leave a seam allowance. So you can see that I'm leaving my seam allowance. This is the bit that's going to tuck under the foot and glue to the sole of the shoe. Okay, so this is the bit that we drew, and then I've left my seam allowance about half an inch, probably, maybe not even that much. And then we need to go around that and cut slits up to the line, like so. And this can be adapted to fit any size doll, really. It'd be a bit fiddly for a little doll, I would imagine, but you could do it to fit, you know, these 18-inch dolls or a baby doll. So we've cut all the way around like that. So now I have 2 pieces like that. One for each shoe. Okay, so they're the fronts. And now for the back part. Again, we need a piece of spare material. We want a flat edge, and it's going to be this shape. So cut it out a bit bigger than you think you're going to need it, and it's going to measure on the doll's foot. It's going to measure from here all the way round the back of the heel and to here, and it's going to go up the back of her heel. This is going to be the back part of her shoe. Okay, so I've lost my straight edge again, sorry. Again, measure how high up you want it to come up the back of the shoe, back of the foot, and you need to put it at an angle so it's going down towards the front of the foot. Same on the other side. Now wrap that around. It's not easy, I know. Wrap it around the dolly's foot. Just hold it in position, much like you did the front. Wrap it around the foot and hold it, and then draw around the foot again. Same as you did for the front, making sure that you're drawing around the bottom of the foot. Make sure that stays where you want it. So as you can see, it's come up the sides, but it tapers down more towards the foot at the front. It's deeper at the back than it is at the front. And you see, wrap it around like that. Probably the easiest way to do it is to do it inside out, and then you can draw around the foot this way. Or you can do it like I'm doing it and make it more difficult than it needs to be. Draw around the foot, all the way around the heel. Make sure you're drawing around the bottom of the foot, don't go up, otherwise it won't be big enough. So here we are, here's our rough shape. And you see, and again you need to cut 2 of those, and you need to leave a generous seam allowance. Rather it be too big and you have to cut it smaller than it be too small, because you can't cut it bigger, can you? Okay, and we'll just have another measure around the foot. So that's where I want the heel, and as you can see my line matches up to the base of her foot, and I want it to come to about here, so I'll put a little mark there, a little mark just there. I don't know if you can see, hold on, and put a little mark there where I want it to go to. Same on the, well actually what we'll do is we'll fold it like so, and then cut it across your line. Then do your little slits up to your line again from the curved edge. You can always cut these a bit smaller if you think they're too big. See how you get on when I show you what we're going to do with it. So now we have all the pieces. We have the heel part, we have the toe part, which is going to go over like that. We have the sole, which is there, and then we need a little strip like this. Now this I'm going to fold in half, but not all the way to the bottom. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap at the bottom. Can you see that? And that bit is for this on the back of a shoe, and that will just help you to pull a shoe on and off. Yeah, you can actually glue it down a bit more if you want to. I like to be able to stick my thumb in there and help pull a shoe on. So now we can compile our shoe. So first thing we do is put the sole onto a foot like so. Then we get the back of the shoe, put it in position, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around like so. Make sure it's level each side. Can you see? Wrap that around like that, and now what we're going to do is glue these little flaps over like this and hold them into place all the way around. So we need to glue each one of those little flaps around, making sure that this bit is where you want it to be. Okay, and do it one at a time. Don't go mad and try and do it all at once, because it won't work. You'll end up with cold glue that won't glue down, and it's a pain then. So let me grab my glue gun. Now this is how I did it. So a little blob of glue on there, and then stick it down. I also stuck some glue onto my finger, which really hurt. Another little blob of glue, glue that bit down, and do that all the way around. I'm going to go to this side now. Little blob of glue, glue it down. Another little blob of glue. You get the drift. Glue all the little tabs down. And there. So that's the back of a shoe done. How easy was that? Yeah. Now we're going to do the front of a shoe. So get the front of your shoe. Put it on the front where you want it. Remember, not too high up, but it does need to just overlap the back. Right, so can you see? I have it overlapping. Sorry, this is not easy. Ugh. There we are, it's just overlapping. Okay, and then we're going to do the same as we did for the back. And we're going to glue those little tabs down all the way around. And start off at the side and glue that onto that edge. So a little bit of glue on that edge like so. Whoops. Glue this onto it like this. Okay. Over the foot to the other side. Make sure it's overlapping just a little bit, wouldn't have to be overlapping loads. Glue that side down too. So now I've got both sides glued down. And now we're going to glue down each tab, as we did for the back. A little bit of glue there. One at a time, remember. Be patient, it pays off. And the next one. And this, I suppose, could be done in any fabric, really. The last set I made, I did in some quite thick cotton lace. And I used, for the bottom, I used foam board. You know, children's crafting foam. Yeah. So bear with me, I'm running out of glue. Little trick for you. Glue the end of your glue stick. Can't seem to show it on the camera. Do the end of your glue stick. Pop a little bit of glue on there. Oh, if you haven't left it too late, and glue it to the old glue stick. There we go. And that'll just help it come through a bit easier. Right, back to the gluing. It doesn't matter if you make a mess of this bit here, it's all going to be covered up. So just keep gluing and folding. Gluing and folding. Try not to glue your fingers like I'm doing. And then the last one on the corner. Children, make sure you do this with adult supervision. Don't do it on your own, because glue guns are hot. Right, so that's that all done. Get it as flat as you can all the way around. Give it a good press. Get it as flat as you can. So that's the bottom of our shoe. Then we need to glue on the sole. Here we are. I've got bits of glue on there, but they'll come off, don't worry. Just piggle those off. And I suppose, like I say, it can be done in any material. So you could do it in denim. I did it in lace and I used foam board. When you're gluing on the sole, again, don't try and do the whole thing at once. Start at the top. Remember, you've made this bit a little bit bigger, so you can cut it down to the right size and tidy it up when you're done, so you don't have to worry too much about that. A bit more glue. And there's a little press down. And finally, glue on the heel part. There we go. Give it a good press down. Make sure it's on really well. And then we'll pop it off, ready for decoration. There we are. Before you decorate it, pull off any little extra bits of glue on there. I'm a bit excessive with my glue. Pull all the little bits off and just generally tidy it up a bit. Get your scissors and trim off any extra bit of the sole. There we go. Try and get it level with the rest of the shoe. You see? There we go. Just going to cut along this bit here a bit more. There. And there's her little shoe. Now you could leave it at that if you wanted to, or you could perhaps put a little button or a bow on the front there. Yeah, or some little gems even. Anything you want, really. And what I did, I got some spare feathers that were left over. You can buy feathers from most craft shops. And what I did was to put a little line of glue here. And glue on the feathers. Now, I had a bit of a job gluing these feathers on, if I'm honest. It took a bit of gluing on because they're so layered that, yeah, as you can see. And then chop off the excess. Being careful not to cut your shoe. and not to give yourself an allergy attack like I'm about to. So there we are, there's the feathers, and I'm going to trim off this extra bits of feathers as well. Like I say, I'm only doing feathers because it matches her dress. You could do buttons, you could do little bows, you could do gems, anything you wanted really. So there's the feather part of the shoe, and just to finish it off, I've got some turquoise ribbon that matches the turquoise in her dress and the turquoise in her hair, and I'm just going to glue that around here like so. So start here, a little bit of glue, stick on your ribbon. You could do this before you put the sole on if you wanted to, and tuck your ribbon underneath the sole, and then finish off gluing the other side. There we go. Press that on and trim off the trim the ribbon level with the sole of the shoe, like so. Yeah. And that's the shoe almost done. The only thing we need to do is add the little bit at the back. So in the middle at the back, now then I've lost my little strip. First thing I'm going to do is put a, whoops, I'm stuck to my feathers, put a blob of glue here and glue it, leaving a little bit at the bottom, like so. So I've got my loop there, and then I'm going to glue this bit to the back of the shoe in the middle, like so. So a line of glue in the middle of your shoe, glue on your little aid to help you get the shoe on and off. Give it a little trim if you need to, and you're done. That's it. Hope you enjoyed my little dolly transformation. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Bye for now.